It's a little bit gimmicky. It's not great. It doesn't sort of do a lot, but yeah. All right, so theoretically, this should be streaming now. So let me know when you can see it. Yeah. The frame rate's now. The frame rate is now 30. It's. I might actually. Yeah, this is sick. It's going to pause for a second because what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off my second monitor and just see what happens if that fixes something. Because that frame rate's horrid. Nah, I've been focusing a lot on building ships and all that kind of stuff. I've not really done a lot of killing, actually, which seems to be the thing that levels up a lot. Alright, let's see if that helped. That did not help. I gained about 2 frames per second. That did not help. Oh. Yeah, I gained 2 frames per second by closing my second monitor. That didn't do a lot. Anyways, this is my current ship. So my latest mod is removing all of the logos from the Stroud Eccleston logos. Yeah, they're all gone now, so that's looks really sleek now. You see, I got lots of incoming materials. So it should be copper, aluminium, and lead, I think. And then I'm producing iron at this location. So I got a watchtower up here. I won't go into it, but there's a watchtower to see everything from. And then the actual base is fairly small at the moment in terms of like the indoor space, but we'll go and have a look at that. I've got turrets at the top. And I got some warning employees only beyond this point. So I got a water cooler, my bench. A TV for the guy sitting behind the desk so he doesn't get bored. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Not particularly. Mostly at the moment, the only issues I'm having are limitations of what you can and can't do in terms of where you are and aren't allowed to place things. Yeah, pretty much. That's the most of my issues. But I will 100% be modding the crap out of all of this stuff to improve all of this because it drives me insane. There are already some, but they're still very limited at the moment because you know, the modding tools aren't out yet, so it's pretty limited what you've done. Most of the mods that I've done so far have been texture mods and a few like automated scripting mods to do, you know, like console commands automatically, things like that. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to extended modding where we can, you know, have custom objects and place things wherever we want instead of being limited to where the game thinks we can place things. Like, as an example, I know the delay is huge, but eventually you'll get over to this spot where there's a like a yeah, but there's a so over underneath this TV there's like this little I don't know what to call it, little trolley. And I can't place anything on the bottom of the trolley. I can only place things on the top. So things like, there's little things like that. Or another great example is the shelves. So if I have like shelving, I can't place objects on the shelving. So it's just lots of things like that that you know, would be way better if we could do that stuff. And it shouldn't be too hard to do. It just will be, you know, take a bit of modding to do it. I've already seen a mod someone made where you can customize the interiors of ships. I have downloaded that, but I have not actually tested it yet. I was going to test that tonight, but I'm going to test it out because I want to know how good it actually is or how well it works. So yeah, I'm curious. No, that's a it's not Vasco. It's actually a robot that's increases the production rate of your when you create materials. Well, not materials, but like I don't know what to call them. Like I'm creating adaptive frames here and zero wire, and so having a robot will increase the rate at which it produces those things. I actually need to dump some of this stuff on my ship because everything's full. All my storage is full everywhere, pretty much. But yeah, so nice. But yeah, I'll show you a little bit of the base stuff in a moment, and I'll show you how a lot of this works. You have to connect a lot of things together. So yeah, so in this sort of overview mode, you can see how I've connected together a bunch of these different things. So as an example, if I start from the iron extractor. The iron extractor sends its iron to a storage container, and then that storage container sends its iron to the adaptive frame fabricator, which uses iron and iron and aluminium. And then I've got aluminium coming in from an outpost on another planet that I made that's mining aluminium, and this ship is actually just dropping it in right now. It's dropping in a load of aluminium, and from there you connect that to the fabricator as well, and that fabricator will start creating adaptive frames, and then it's connected to this storage container because once it's made adaptive frames, it'll send them to this container. And then the same thing for the zero wire fabricator. So it needs copper and silver, and so I've got copper coming from another outpost and silver coming from another outpost, and they're both connected to the fabricator, and it produces zero wire and then sends them to the same container. And then this container is connected to this thing here, which is the transfer container, and this is how I can send all of my adaptive frames and zero wire directly to my ship without having to sort of pick them up and carry them while over encumbered. I could just be in my ship, go into the inventory, and just transfer them straight from this thing to my ship. Yeah, so that's how that works. And then on the other side, on these other outposts that I've just got these same pads, because so on these pads there's two different containers sort of on the top of them. One container is an input and one's an output. So yeah, so you have to output from so any materials you want to go to somewhere else from your outpost to another outpost, you put in the outgoing container. So that's like what these links are. So you would link to the outgoing container. So let's say I wanted to put these, I won't actually end up linking it, but I'll just show you an example. If I wanted to link this container with my zero wire and adaptive frames to the outpost that's sending whatever this is sending, I would just link it to the outgoing container. But yeah, it's good. It's good fun. But also the other thing about the outpost building is it takes a lot of resources to do anything, which is why I have this outpost. So this is like my main outpost, because this is where I'm fabricating things that I kept running out of, which were adaptive frames and the zero wire. So that's what this outpost is all about. And then I have a few. I think I have another 3, maybe. I think 3 outposts that are all just mining outposts. But this one is where I'm doing a bunch of things. And I tried to make this outpost look nice. Now that I've got a bunch of materials, I was able to waste some by just making it look nice. And I've got, lots of defenses and things like that. Although I've never had an outpost be attacked yet, so I'm not really sure what that is, because I remember there was a mission that I was doing, and it told me that my outpost would be attacked from here on. They said, from this point on in the game, your outpost will now be attacked periodically. And I've not had it since, and that was a couple of days ago, so I don't know what that's all about. One more thing. So you'll also see, you'll also see at the bottom of the screen, it shows the needed power and total power. So you have to build some sort of power generation to make sure that you're powering everything. Yeah, because sometimes things will just stop running, and that's when you need more power. So at the moment I'm running exactly the same amount of power as I need. But yeah, you can, yeah. And then, another thing too, if I go out of this overview mode, and I'll go into the building. So if you want to have crew at your outposts, you need one of these things. When I get to it, there we go. So this desk, it's like a crew desk. You need to have one of these, and I think each crew desk supports 2, I don't know what you call them, people, 2 crew that you can send to each outpost. So, but you can have, I mean, I don't know how many of these desks you can have in an outpost, but I assume you can have at least more than one. Yeah, and then each one of these supports 2. I've only got one of these at each of my outposts though, so I've only got up to 2 crew at each outpost. You can also hire crew for your outposts from various bars. So if you go to like Neon or even anywhere, New Atlantis, any bar you can find, you'll find that there are people you can hire. They'll usually want you to pay them, but you can persuade them to be paid less, which is useful. It is a one-off, yeah. Yeah, that's it, yeah. But yeah, there's still a lot left to do. Like, I've not got a huge operation going. This is mainly, this whole base is basically just to make adaptive frames and zero wire. That's what this entire base is for. So I'm going to expand it. But the other issue too is there's a maximum number of these cargo links that you can have. So I've got 3 here, and I think 3 is the maximum. So that kind of sucks, because that means I can't have one gigantic base that just makes everything, because I can't bring in any more material. Or at least, I'm not 100% sure. There might be a way. I've not explored it too much. I might be able to send multiple resources into one cargo link, but I haven't actually tried that yet. So I'm not entirely sure about that, but I'll probably give that a go later. And also, another thing, this big landing pad is super useful, because then your ship lands at your base rather than far away. So you'll find that every time you go to your base, if you don't have a landing pad, you'll just land somewhere else. And you have to run to get back, so that's annoying. So I built this big thing, and there are 2 different landing pads. One is just a normal landing pad, and the other one is this big one where you can modify your ships. And I also discovered that on this landing pad, you can use all of the like ship parts that you've ever used. I don't know how to put that, but so there are like different ship parts, and when you go to, say, New Atlantis to modify a ship, you'll get access to certain parts. But when you go to Neon, you'll get access to different parts. But then if you go back to New Atlantis, you don't have access again to the Neon parts until you go back to Neon, and vice versa, and all that sort of stuff. So that's kind of annoying. So I found that this thing is now where I modify all my ships now, because now all of the different places I've been and all of the different brands and parts that I've unlocked are all available at your outpost. So that is sick. So now that I've talked about the outpost a little bit, I'll show you some of the ship building stuff. So it's going to give a warning. No, it's not. Sweet. Okay, so it's my current ship. Yeah, pretty much. You only have to go there once and just sort of go into the ship builder menu and then exit out of it. I don't think there's that many. I've not really looked up a lot of guides or anything. I've just been sort of messing around on my own, so I'm not entirely sure just how much is out there. But I've been to a few places. There's a few shipyards, and like there's a mission you can do for Stroud Eckland as well, which I did, and that got me most of the parts that I use for this ship I'm using now. And the only thing I didn't like about the Strat parts, like I've mentioned before, was the textures had all the Strat logos all over them. So I've modded all those out now. So now I don't have the logos on the ships, which looks so clean. Oh yeah, heaps cleaner. Yeah, and I didn't actually remove them completely. I just reduced them. So I removed the logos from pretty much everything. But there will be some Strat logos still in the ship parts, but they'll only be very rare. So like you can see one over here on the I don't know what to call this thing, but the thing that holds the engine, it's got one of the logos on it, and that's because you know, I didn't want to remove it completely because I thought it would make sense to still have it in some places. So so the logo is still there, just not the really bright yellow ones that they were there have been taken away. So that, yeah, that looks way better. But yeah, in terms of shipbuilding, it's pretty easy. You just need the basic components. Like you need one of pretty much every component. So obviously, you know, you need a cockpit, you need a lander, you need landing gear, you need engines, you need, you know, all that stuff, a reactor and a grav drive and a docker and all that sort of stuff. But then in terms of everything else, the build limit, in terms of, I know at least length, the build limit is 40 meters. You'll notice mine's 41 meters, but that's because I've modded it. So that's what this error is. So this error will tell me ship exceeds max length, width, or height. So mine does exceed the maximum. But there's a console command you can do to just not have to worry about that. Although I haven't done, you have to do it every time you load the game at the moment. So I haven't done it this time. So whatever changes I make, I won't be able to save at the moment. But I don't really care. Anyway, so, and you can automatically, you can make you can make console commands and run that game launch, which I haven't done yet, but I'll probably do that for this as well. Anyway, so, but the one thing to note is that the class of your reactor determines the class limit of everything else. So, as an example, you can see on this ship I've got a Class B reactor. That means that every other part I use must be a Class A or B. I can't use a Class C part if I've got a Class B reactor. And so if I had a Class A reactor, I would only be able to use A parts. But if I had a Class C reactor, then I'd be able to use A, B, or C parts. So that's something to keep in mind if ever you go to use a part and it says you can use it, but then there'll be an error. Actually, I might even, I'll make the error occur. So if I go to shields as an example, and yeah, so I've got this shield that's a Class C. If I put that shield on, you'll notice I've now got a new error. Where'd it go? There it is. Fuck it, I just pressed the button. Alright. So new error. Oh, I've got a few now, obviously, because I've got two things. I've got not enough credits left, and I'm exceeding more than my module. But anyway, which is ship contains modules that access reactor class. So that's what that's about. If ever you see that, that's because I have a Class C reactor. Sorry, a Class B reactor, but a Class C shield. So that's something to keep in mind. Because I have actually built an entire ship and then later on been like, oh shit, I have to remove things. Let's have a look. So if you go all the way over to tech, there's a Starship design. That's how you get different new modules. So I'm 3 or 4 at the moment. And then the piloting is what allows you to do A, B, and C class, or you know, B and C classes. You get B at rank 3 and C at rank 4. Yeah. Yeah, so Starship Design's the one that gets you access to more parts. I've still got one more to unlock, so I've not seen what experimental ship modules are yet, but I'm curious to see what that's about. No, not necessarily. You only have to unlock. So if you go to one that you can't do yet, you'll notice that it'll say locked and it'll say spend however many more points in tech to unlock this skill. So each one, it's not so much about unlocking all 5 or anything because you don't have to. All you have to do is spend a certain number of points in each tier, if that makes sense. So you can see how there's like 4 tiers there. You just have to spend a certain number of points in one tier. So you could spend all those points in one thing. So as an example, you could spend all your points in just piloting, as an example. Although you might need more than 4, but yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah, so you can do stuff like that. And then eventually you'll unlock the ability to unlock other tiers and things. So yeah, that's how that works. There's another one that's worth noting as well. It's in, actually, I think it is in science. Yeah. There's one in science called Outpost Engineering. I have not even unlocked it. I'm not even close to unlocking it yet. I still need to spend 5 more points in other things before I can even unlock it. But that's going to be the next thing I'm working towards. Once I've leveled up my Starship design all the way, I'm going to work towards Outpost Engineering. Because at the moment, I don't even have access to a lot of the things that the Outpost can do. So, yep, that's it. Yep. So yeah, so I've got to spend 5 more. So yeah, I've been putting most of mine into research methods and surveying because I think they're the most useful, at least for me. I mean, medicine's probably going to be useful, but yeah, at the moment I'm just research methods and stuff. But I think probably next I'm probably going to go into either spacesuit design or weapon engineering or something. Maybe scanning. I don't know. But yeah. Yeah, so I've just been dumping about things. Another thing to note too is like I've been making sure that because I don't want to ruin my or taint my first playthrough of the game because it's still my first. So I'm not using any console commands or anything that could be considered cheating. The only thing that maybe pushes the limit to that is the expanding the spaceship size the way I have. But I literally expanded by 1 meter. So I went from 40 meters to 41 meters because I literally built this ship and I didn't notice the error at the bottom. And it was only after I'd finished the whole ship, I did all this cool stuff to it, that I noticed that the error was there. And I saw it, and then I looked at it, and it was 41 meters, and I was like, "You've got to be kidding me! I'm 1 meter too big." So I did the console command for that. But other than that, though, I've not given myself any money or resources or anything like that. No skill or levels or yeah, I've not done anything like that deliberately, just because I don't, I don't want to take my my first playthrough. So. Everything I've built here has been with resources I've gathered and stuff. How was it? I've seen some, but I've literally not done any of that. I've deliberately stayed away from it because I want to just play it through as normal. No, I know what you mean. I've seen a couple where people they build particular like specific outposts that are specifically for farming XP and stuff. Yeah, I've seen those. Like it's something I might do, in my next playthrough. But at the moment, I'm happy to just play the game as is. It takes a long time to get anything done, but yeah, I have time at least sometimes. Like, because when I don't play the game, like, well, I'm not playing the game every day, but when I do play it, I'm playing it for 6 hours at a time. So I get a fair bit done in those hours. Although sometimes it's easy to just end up getting really distracted with something. Like I can easily spend 2 hours just working on modifying Starship, or I could spend like 4 or 5 hours just working on an outpost, just adding little insignificant things like little details and whatever else. So yeah, it's easy to get distracted. Or I can spend ages doing a mission where I'm sneaking around instead of just running in guns blazing. A mission that could take 15 minutes takes me 45 minutes. Yeah. So. Oh, I'll show you inside my Starship. My Starship is easy to get lost in. This thing is a maze. So, in this ship, we have some crew quarters, which are always nice. And I've got a lot of crew quarters actually in this ship. Yeah, I'll get there. I've got a science station, more crew quarters, a workshop, more crew quarters. So much here. It's actually easy to get lost in this ship, it's huge. Oh. Yeah. It took me so long to figure that out. There was a mission for that, and oh my god, it took me so long. Because the game doesn't tell you. I've got an armory. Captain's quarters. Got Oh, there's so much here. This ship is huge, man. So that's the cockpit, but I'll go back because the cockpit, I've still not even explored everything here. There's so much. I've missed a floor somehow, so that's how much it's easy to get lost. I've actually missed stuff. Oh, actually, I'll show you engineering first. Hang on, let me just start it normally. I usually, so I find I get sick of climbing ladders because it takes so long, so I tend to just boost pack around. So what am I missing here? Oh, here we go. So I've got this mess hall as well. That's huge. This is a huge room. It's one of the nice things about the Stroud Eklund components for the ships is, yeah, they've got a lot of like these things. Like this mess hole is like I think it's like a 3x2 room. It's huge, and I've got trees sticking out from outside through the floor. But anyway, bugs galore. Love it. But yeah, so there's a lot of cool things that you can do with ships. Yeah, these ships are sick, and there's all kinds of things you do. And I think there's probably still more rooms that I haven't shown you that I'm probably just not finding, because there's quite a few insignificant, like I've got a lot of storage rooms and things as well, but I don't really use them. But this thing has an insane amount of storage. But actually, I'll go to the cockpit and I'll show you. This thing has over 5,000 units of storage. So there we go. So if I go into a cargo hold, what do we got? We've got 5,100 units of storage. And I'm using 3,862 at the moment. I've got so many resources, it's crazy. Like I've got heaps and heaps of resources. Like I've got 216 adaptive frames now. That was something that I was always running out of, was adaptive frames. Now I've got 216 of them. Yeah. Yeah, this thing's mental, man. This ship is, yeah, this ship is sick. No, this isn't a mod. No. Like I said, the only mod in terms of the ships is I've increased the size by 1 meter, and I've modded out some of the Stroud Eklund logos from everything so that there's not the logos littering the place. But other than that, though, no, I've not done any. There's no. Oh, there's lots of different cockpits you can use. This is the Stroud Eklund cockpit, well, one of the several Stroud Eklund ones, which are the biggest, I think. Oh yeah, well that's actually, sorry, that's another mod that I'm using. Someone made a wicked mod very early on when the game first launched that just changes the UI for PC, because the UI is definitely made for console. You can tell that it's like, it's definitely more console oriented, and it's crap. And on PC it's horrible. So that made it so much better, and I almost forget that it's even a mod because it just feels like it's part of the game. It's so much better. Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, it's quite customizable too. And as you saw, you might have seen, I was clicking on the where I clicked on like quantity up the top, and it was sorted by quantity and stuff. You don't have to press the same key over and over to flip the thing. Anyway, it's hard to explain, but yeah, it's good. It's good. It's a good mod. I definitely highly recommend that mod. But yeah, so I'll get into the ship and we'll see how it takes off. This thing, this thing is huge.
Ready for takeoff in 3, 2, 1, go!
I have this weird bug. Sometimes the sound isn't right, like just then. It's like there's a sound missing when I launch.
Orbital insertion complete. You may now move freely about the cabin.
The only pop-in thing I've had is characters randomly popping into existence. I've had that a couple of times, just randomly. It's not too bad and it's not too noticeable, but yeah, a couple of times I've had that happen. Yeah, it's some of that is a bit frustrating. There's a lot of help in the game for that stuff. I also have a ship that I made yesterday. It's the reason why I have no money left, because I actually used all of it on a new ship. um, so yeah, I'll show you that in a minute. Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to doing more with ships later on. I'm still at the moment, I've not explored everything, so I'm still happy building ships with just the standard stuff. But once all the modding really kicks off, I'm really looking forward to what we're going to be able to do with ships and outposts and all that sort of stuff. Um, it's going to be good. I'll load in another ship and I'll show you. Yeah, I'll load in another ship and I'll show you the newest one that I've just built. If I can find the planet, there it is.
We used to wonder if life was unique to our world. Not only is it not, but it seems to take every opportunity to emerge.
Loading's pretty quick, yeah. Yeah, it doesn't take long at all. So I'll show you my newest ship. Where is it? Here we go. This thing's only small because I literally ran out of money. But I built this cool little, I took it from one of the scarabs that I stole from Spaces. So I was in a battle with some Spaces and I destroyed all their ships except one and then bought it and stole it. And I liked the design of it, just the way it looked was cool. So I took it and basically just lengthened it. I extended it a little bit and added some more things to it. So it was originally both shorter and thinner, but I've sort of bulked it up a fair bit, added some cool things. And so now, now it has an armory and it has infirmary, control station, captain's quarters. Yeah, because before it was just an all-in-one berth and a storage, I think. And so I've added a few things to it. Oh yeah. Another ship I really enjoyed was there's a mission where, I mentioned it to you before, the UC prison shuttle. So that ship, I modified the crap out of that. It almost doesn't even look at all like the same ship anymore. But now it's actually one of my favorites now, other than the newest one. Yeah, this thing is nuts. So it has ludicrous amounts of storage. Yeah, I do, yeah. But yeah, this thing has armor. What do you mean? Oh, yeah, I have all of that, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because I did modify the Razer Leaf as well. I didn't do much to it, though. The Razer Leaf is still pretty much the same ship as it was. I've only done a little bit to it. And actually, I basically haven't touched it since when I first got it and I modified it a little bit. So there's probably heaps I could do to it now. I wouldn't mind. You know what I would like is a duplicate, even if I had to pay for it. You know, using credits or whatever. I wouldn't mind duplicating because something like, as an example, the prison shuttle. The actual original prison shuttle was pretty cool, and you know, I've modified it now so it's unrecognizable now. You know, it's like 3 stories if you don't include the landing port. So it's, I mean, it's basically 4 stories high now. So you know, it's unrecognizable to what it was. So I'd like to be able to duplicate the original, so that I didn't have to modify it, but and I don't think there's anywhere else you can get that ship as far as I'm aware. I've not seen that same ship anywhere else. I think it's a unique ship. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a unique ship, so I've kind of fucked it in that way. But yeah, so that's something I'd like to see. But again, later when there's mods and things, as well as, you know, there's probably an ID for that ship anyway, so I could probably just spawn it in if I really wanted to. Which again, I'm not going to be doing at the moment because I don't want to sort of cheat in my first save at the moment. But it's something that later on I could probably do if I really wanted to, or I could just load a new save, you know, start a new game, whatever. So, yeah. And then I've got this UC Vanguard A combat ship. I haven't renamed it yet. Still got the original name. This is just another ship. It's not amazing or anything, but it's another one that I sort of took and lengthened, and just made it long. It looks alright. It's not the best, but it's kind of cool. It's got a lot of windows. It's cool you can put windows on the floors. Yeah. Yeah, so when you're in your ship, you can look at, like, you put windows in your floors, and then when you're in your ship, you can like see either the ground if you landed, or if you're in space, you can just see out the window, which I think makes sense. It's cool. One of my ships, I think it's actually the prison shuttle. Yeah, that one. It has windows that you can see anyone approaching the ship, and that actually ended up being something that, I mean, it wasn't exactly useful, but it's something that, I don't know, became, I don't know what the word is. It's not useful, but like, I noticed it because I landed somewhere where there were spaces or something, and they were running over to my ship, and they were attacking, I think it was Vasco, whoever was standing outside my ship. And I was still inside the ship, and as I was coming down from the cockpit, the next floor down from that has these windows that overlook the front of the ship, and I could see the spaces, like I could see their heads as they were like running towards my ship. It looked sick. But yeah, some of these have insane amounts of storage, and some of these I could upgrade more. Like this prison shuttle still has the old storage that I used to use, and I now have access to much bigger storage containers than I used to, so I could upgrade this thing, because this was my original like storage hauler. This thing had, like, cargo ship, it had heaps of storage at the time, at 4,690 cargo space. At the time that was heaps for me, because this was still pretty early on in the game for me. But now, like, if you look at my newest one, well, not the Scarab, but the one before that, the Kepler M, I'm calling it. This was the Kepler S, and I've renamed it the Kepler M. This thing has 5,100 storage, and yet, you know, the storage actually doesn't take up all that much space. I also found some cool things that you can do. I might even go back in Shipbuilder so I can show you some cool design tricks. So I use things like these fuel tanks that are sort of curved for an aesthetic reason, but I didn't want too many fuel tanks because, you know, it adds weight quite quickly. You know, the mass of these fuel tanks is 18, so I was using these sort of little caps that only have a mass of 3, and they're the same shape as the fuel tanks, and so you can kind of make it look like it's one big extended thing. And the same thing goes for the cargo holds. I've got these cargo holds that are curved as well, and then there's these sort of these other sort of structural pieces that you can use that don't do anything, but they have significantly less mass, and so you can sort of, you know, continuously have the right design that you want without having to worry about the mass increasing too much, which is one of the things. Pretty much all my ships end up weighing a lot, and they end up struggling for maneuverability. It's something I'm hoping once I get the last level up for the Starship design, I'm hoping that I can get engines and things that can handle the amount of weight. I'm hoping so, because like all my things weigh heaps, because I like having a shit ton of cargo space, because I collect a lot of resources, but, you know, and I'm collecting a lot of resources that I don't need yet, because I already know that, like, the outposts just cost so many resources that I'm going to need them later, so I just store them in my ship. So I need a lot of cargo space, which is why each of my ships, if you look at sort of the progression of my ships, they just cold, you know, more and more every new ship I build, with the exception of the latest one, that little scarab one. But that's just because it's not a completed build yet. It's just a small little thing. I'll probably extend it more later. But yeah, it kind of looks. It reminds me of something out of Halo. It sort of looks. Maybe it's the color as well. But the little scarab ship that I've got looks like whatever they call those little drop ship things, sort of. No, the UNSC ones. I mean, actually, it's probably a combination of both because it's curved like the grunt ships, but it's the color and the cockpit and that looks like the design of the. Oh, for some reason I can't think of the name of them right now, but yeah. Oh yeah. What, the Infinity or something? I don't know. Oh yeah. Some of the guns are pretty cool. I've got this gun. I've got a couple of them that I picked up, and it's a it's called an Old Earth rifle or something like that. Old Earth hunting rifle or something. And it's basically a VSS. It's sick, and it's like silenced. It's also useful because I've got the thing where I turn invisible if I stand still for long enough with a particular spacesuit. And one cool thing, well, one of the things I don't like about it is if I have my pistol out, and I might even just equip that spacesuit and I'll show you. Yeah, I'll show you what I mean. Whereas the sniper doesn't have that problem. So if I use the spacesuit, so if you're trying to aim in on somebody, you can't see your own sights because the sights go invisible, and it makes it really hard to get a headshot, you know, while you're in stealth mode and invisible. But one of the things I like about the this older sniper thing is that the sights, when you zoom in, are perfectly visible, which is great. So this thing's really good for sneaking around. I don't remember where I got it, but I got this wicked gun. I just can never find enough ammo for it. But I got it during that that set of faction missions for the Crimson Fleet. At some point I picked it up during that. No, it's called the Revenant. Yeah, Revenant. Man, this thing is insane. No, it's not a pistol. This is a rifle. So I've got the pistol too. That's the what's that? The keel hauler. Yeah, so the keel hauler is the pistol. Yeah, I think I got that at the end of that mission or something. But there was another one that I got during that sort of saga of missions called the Revenant, and this thing is insane. It fires just a shit ton of bullets all at once, and it is so far, it takes down every enemy I have shot at. This thing takes that enemy down immediately. The only problem I'm having with it is ammo. I just cannot find the ammo for this thing, and it's kind of frustrating. Oh, I mean, I've got a ridiculous amount of ammo too. I've got so much ammo for everything except this gun. It is the 50 MI, the 50 caliber MI, whatever MI is. Oh, here we go. So this is called 50 caliber MI array. Yeah, so 50 MI array is what it's called, and it seems to be very rare. I can't seem to find it in many places, and I don't know of any other guns that use it either. Oh, that's a good point. I've not even tried to buy it. I've not even thought of that. You know what? I might even check now because I've not even looked at buying it. I've basically just I've basically just been finding it.
I have something for you.
Yeah.
We are cleared for liftoff.
That looks sick, taking off while other ships are taking off.
Surrounded
Oh,
by stars
Trade Authority
and
merchants hailing me,
vast
okay.
space.
Is guaranteed.
Oh, right, I've only got 40. Oh, wait, okay, the game must be listening to me, because I literally, we were just talking about finding the Trade Authority, and when I took off and went into orbit, a Trade Authority ship contacted me and it's like, hey, let's
Plenty
trade.
on offer. Your credits are good.
Let's see if they have the ammo I'm looking for. They do have the ammo. They have 220 rounds of it. Oh, hell yeah, I'm going to buy it straight up. Hell yeah. Yeah, Q Hauler. Yeah, that's a decent pistol. I think that's my most powerful gun, actually, in terms of like raw stats. Like damage per second.
Satisfaction is guaranteed.
Yeah, I've got a fair few stored, but I don't know if you know, but there's different like quality levels of items and things. So I've been trying to sort of prioritize certain qualities. Yeah, it's confusing though how they work, but yeah. Yeah, but there's also quality levels. So other than like the rarity, there's also quality. Let me show you what I mean. So if I go into weapon, oh, I don't even have any that show it. Oh, actually, maybe in my yeah. Okay, so see how there's like calibrated, and what else is there? Wow, calibrated seems to be the only ones I have here. Okay, so there's different. There's like calibrated. There's a couple of others as well. I can't think of what they're called though. Yeah, so there's specific words. So like most of the words refer to whatever sort of like attachments it has, but there are a couple of words that are specific to the quality, and one of them is calibrated. And I just can't think of the other words, but there are other words for other quality levels of things. Yeah, see, that's just, yeah, that's attachments. Sturdy, I think maybe is another one. I don't know, maybe. I don't know, but yeah, anyway, there's a whole bunch of words. But yeah, it's a confusing system. Well, they're already using that for the rarity though, so I don't know what they do. Maybe actual stars or something? I don't know. Or yeah, I'm not sure. Or maybe just not have that system at all, because it's sort of unnecessary. Oh, there's another thing I'll show you if you're still watching the stream. I'll show you outposts, how to place up, or like where to place outposts. So one thing to keep in mind is if you go into your so like from orbit, look at your the resources, so like, you know, to show resources on the planet, and the best way to do it, at least from my experience with it, is to find where the different resources intersect with each other. So as an example here, I've got one that says copper, water, and iron. Water's kind of pointless for me at the moment, but the point is, if you find a spot where they intersect, so like, I don't know, let's say, so I want iron and something else. Iron and copper would be ideal. Yeah, so I suppose the spot I just had, so we'll put it here. So let's say we've got iron and copper near each other. If I select a landing location right in the middle of it, or on the border of these two, and I land there, then I'll probably be able to make an outpost that will have both iron and copper in the one outpost, because you can end up,
Landing gear.
otherwise you'll end up having so many outposts for different resources. And I didn't know this at first. I didn't realize until I sort of started doing, because the first couple of outposts were just for one resource, and then I started realizing that I could do it this way. And ever since then, it's been a lot easier to have outposts that can serve more than one purpose, rather than just having an outpost that just mines copper or whatever. I can also change my walk speed with a key binding, which is nice. In fact, you should see how quickly I can walk. Ready? I'll just spam it to go as fast as I can. Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm always depleting my oxygen without trying. Where the hell did my ship go? Oh, yeah. I think I could go faster than this, actually, because I didn't even spam it all the way. Let me try. Oh, it makes my game lag at the moment because I'm streaming as well, so my game is not liking this at all. But anyway, it can be useful for if you get out the scanner and you want to see what resources are nearby. So I can see I have copper here. And what was the other one? It was iron, I think. Yeah, almost. But again, I've been deliberately not using this in a way that cheats. I've been basically using this just to save time when I'm looking for resources for an outpost. So, because otherwise it just takes so long. But yeah, I can see plenty of copper, but I actually can't see any iron. So in this one, it looks like I've not landed in a good place because I can see plenty of copper, but I can't see any iron. So that's where I'd probably go back into the planet view and try again. I'd try and see if there's another place I can land that has both copper and iron. But anyway, that was the point of that, was just to show you that the best way to do it is by far to find where two different resources intersect and put your outpost there once you've sort of scattered the area out. That's right. One of the reasons I actually changed the walking speed was because I wanted to be able to walk at the same speed as the NPCs. Because when they're walking, you walk faster than they do, and it's annoying. It's so annoying. So, during those scenes where I want to walk with them, and I wanted it to feel immersive. I wanted to walk alongside them, but it wouldn't let me. So yeah, just did a basic script to sort of change the walking speed, which basically just does a console command, but in the background to change the walking speed. But yeah, and then ever since then, I realized that I can actually just spam this thing to increase speed and just go crazy fast. Yeah.
Hey, you might want this. Ship's ready. Orbital insertion done. Time to dance among the stars.
I'm trying not to use it most of the time. I basically only use it when I'm scouting for resources. That's pretty much the only time I use it. Most of the other uses of it is to go slower when I'm, like I said before, when I'm trying to move at the same speed as the NPCs. But yeah, no, I'm trying not to cheat. You know, like some things are just time saving, just because it can be so tedious looking for resources when you're trying to make an outpost. Particularly when doing it like I was just saying, where you got to redo it. Like just then, that wasn't even right. I didn't get both resources I was looking for in that one thing there. So I'd have to find another place on the planet to try and do that. In fact, that looks like that's one there. Look at that. That I reckon that spot right there is going to be it.
Landing gear is ready.
Yeah.
Site is clear. Land this way.
Oh, there are going to be so many mods for this game. This game, I can see it now. It is going to be like Skyrim modding, because this game is so good. I think, and from what I've heard, there are people talking about a lot of people who have been modding for Skyrim that are still modding for Skyrim. That never moved on to Fallout or only temporarily moved to Fallout. There's a lot of them that are considering coming over to Starfield and starting to do mods. So that's good news, because it means that we might see some wicked mods for Starfield, because a lot of the modding stuff is pretty similar. There's not a lot of difference in how to mod. Yeah, that's it. So a lot of the concepts are very similar. Which is why I was able to do the things I was doing already as well, because it's the same stuff as what I did for Fallout 4 and even the minor things I did for Fallout 3 back when I wasn't making very good mods back then. But a lot of it's still the same. So there's just more of everything, it seems. But yeah, so I think there are going to be some really good quality mods, and those people now have so much experience with this engine that I think they're going to be able to bring out some cool things. Yeah, I can't even find any resources here. Oh yeah, it's nuts. Yeah, go on. Oh yeah. One of the things I'm looking forward to is I forgot what it was now. Something I'm definitely looking forward to. I'm hoping someone makes a mod for. So in Skyrim, there's a mod to remove all the loading screens between when you enter and exit a building. The only problem with that was that it uses significantly more resources on your computer to do so. But given how old Skyrim is becoming, it's sort of no longer a problem. So you don't need all the loading screens and stuff anymore. Or like the interiors of buildings don't need to be separate from the exterior and that sort of thing. I'm looking forward to that for Starfield. The only problem is obviously this game does use a lot of resources on today's tech, and it's going to be quite a few years before we get to a point where we can do stuff like that. But at least that should be a thing that'll be possible sometime in the future, even if it's 5+ years from now. That's at least something that's going to be possible, and when it is, that's going to be awesome, because as well as even the game, it's very poorly optimized right now. Like it's quite bad, and that's really the only issue. Like we were talking about before, there's not that many actual bugs, although there are a few. They're not game breaking. Sort of the most game breaking thing about this game is just the performance. It's just so taxing unnecessarily. Looking at my performance at the moment, like I am well and truly GPU bound here, and I'm on an overclocked 2080 Ti Kingpin. Like, so why is it so? Sure, it's a 2080 Ti. It's going to be a little bit bottlenecked to some degree. It's getting old now. But that's the thing. I can do much more graphically intensive things than this, and not have it struggle so much. So it's definitely, the game is just not that optimized. And some people have the opposite. Some people are CPU bottlenecked, which isn't my case, although it does use a fair bit of CPU. For me, it's not an issue. But I think it's also maybe a memory problem more than anything, like thrashing the memory. Yeah, I figured out that, exactly. So while I was, my overclock on my VRAM was so heavy, the game was crashing, and as soon as I dialed it down, which, I don't know if I mentioned it, but that overclock has worked on everything else so far. Like, it's not even as high as it can go, because that's sort of been my my sort of overclock that works for everything, and I very rarely need to change it. But with this, I had to lower it again, because this is clearly thrashing the memory. So that was my issue with that. But I've fixed that now. It's possible, and you know, it could be a combination of both. Given that you know the creation engine is getting old, maybe it's an issue with the sheer number and resolution of these textures being loaded in all at once. Yeah, maybe it's a bit of both. So. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, and when you look into, because I've been modding out some of the things I don't like in the textures, particularly on the ships. I've been looking at all the textures and stuff, and man, there are so many textures in this game. Like it's insane the amount of stuff. Some of it's no, just like different textures. Or some of it's quite clever though, the way they've which this isn't new or anything, but they've made good use of what the fuck was that?
Gone.
Okay.
Well.
Yeah, something weird just happened. But anyway, yeah, that was weird. But yeah, so the textures are quite clever how they'll combine things together. So they'll have like, as an example, all of the various different like decals that might be inside of a ship all to get combined into one file, which is nothing new. It's definitely nothing new. But I've been interesting to see it in this game how they've crammed so much in. Which I guess is why the game isn't like, sort of 25 times the size that it is. Because there's, like I said, there is a shit ton of textures in this game. It's amazing this game isn't larger in file size. It's pretty big, man. Like, you'd be surprised. It's huge. It's probably more than what you realize. Well, yeah, partly, yeah, there's some good compression. And that's one thing the creation engine does do pretty well, at least as far as I know. I mean, there's probably something better out there, but as far as I'm aware, it's pretty good at compression. Yeah, okay. I have not even checked the size, but yeah, I mean, I extracted a bunch of textures the other day, and it worked out to be like 20 gigabytes of textures that I extracted, and I was like, what the hell, this is crazy. Yeah, and that was all just for like ship textures and stuff. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it was including a few other bits and pieces because a few things are sort of mixed together in the same file because they've got a bunch of like archive files that contain all of the textures and they're sort of split up. But yeah, yeah. So there are a hell of a lot of textures and the compression's pretty heavy, I think. But I've seen mods that do some work to try to reduce the resolution of the textures without, like like they do AI stuff where they have AI. Whoa, another weird. Oh man, this is a weird bug. Okay, so if you go and stand on top, if you've got one of these docking ports and you stand on top of it, your camera goes inside your body and you can see your own face. Actually, am I seeing my own face or am I seeing? That's not even me. That's Barrett. Oh, I'm inside Barrett. Okay. Oh yeah, we're standing inside each other. Okay, so that's all that happened. I went up there and he just stood on me. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I've noticed that. Well, I've noticed that each companion seems to have different things. So some of them, like certain companions will, yeah, like certain ones only do weapons, certain ones only do medical supplies, certain ones only do, well, Barrett does food. Yeah, things like that. I've got him at the moment because I was doing a mission that requires him, like he's required to be on it. Yeah. No, he is good, yeah, for sure. Nope. Oh, yeah, I know that. Yeah, they don't use ammo, yeah. Wasn't that the same with Fallout, though? Fallout 4, I think, was the same. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I know Fallout 3 wasn't that way. I'm pretty sure Fallout 3, they actually used ammo, but I think Fallout 4, they didn't use ammo. Yeah. Another thing that's nice is I remember back then there was a mod to I can't remember if it was Fallout 3 or 4, but there was a mod to remove the weight of ammo, like to remove the mass of it. And one thing that's nice is that obviously they've figured out that people want that. And so in this game, all ammunition has no mass, so it doesn't take up like your storage space, which is really nice, because that's something that I can remember being a pain in the butt and having to download a mod for. Like I said, I can't remember if it was Fallout 3 or 4, but I remember having a mod to reduce to remove the mass of ammunition, just because it was annoying. So I'm glad that they've done that this time from the beginning. And that's one thing, I think with this game, there's a lot of things that they've done that I think most people wanted in Fallout, and they've done it in this instead. A lot of things that had been modded in Fallout that in this just have it straight away. And like, I've heard a fair bit of criticism about this game for various different things, but I think overall this is probably, their most stable game, at least, if anything. Yeah, and but that's the thing, like, I've seen that as a really big criticism, but honestly, I know that it's definitely something they could have done. Well, they kind of did, but regardless of what they said, I understand that's a criticism to be had, that they did say it. But in terms of, like, is the game good though? Like, does it actually affect how good the game is? I don't think so, because sure, it would be nice if you could take off in your spaceship and fly around the planet in it, and or like build multiple outposts in one area where you could just walk between them, or things like that would be awesome, sure. But in terms of, like, is that practical for the scale of this game? Probably not, given that this game already struggles with optimization, and do we really want this game to be buggy? Do we do we really want to have so many features in this game that it becomes like every other Bethesda game and gets too buggy? We don't want it to get too out of scope. That's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you don't want it to be an exact copy. Yeah, and I mean, there are things that would have been nice. Like, it would have been nice if the planets didn't have boundaries, and to be able to get vehicles, like land vehicles and things that you could drive, sort of like Mass Effect kind of vehicles that you could drive, or something like that. Like, that would have been cool. But again, like, would that have, like, for one, that would have delayed the game. Two, that would have meant the possibility of more bugs. Three, that would have meant more difficult in terms of optimization and performance stuff would have been more difficult. So, there are a lot of reasons why I can see why they wouldn't have done it. And, like, all these things would have been nice, sure. And yeah, they did say that planets would be freely roamable and all that sort of stuff. But in terms of, like, though, does that make this game shit? No, I don't think so at all. I think this game's awesome. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so yeah, I think people's expectations are too high, which, I mean, the same thing could be said in some other games that even we've been a little bit too harsh on, like Battlefield as an example. There are some instances where even our expectations may be a little bit too high, but yeah. Oh yeah, I mean, a lot of the things we've said in the past have been justified. Yeah, for sure. Oh, what was that explosion? What the hell was that? Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's a little much. Yeah, no, I think this game is quite reasonable for what it is, and it is also, I mean, this is clear. I mean, from the moment you start playing it too, it's recognizable as a Bethesda game immediately, and I wouldn't want them to lose that either, because there's definitely something special about Bethesda games, and I'd hate for them to lose that identity. Yeah, just the way it feels. There are a couple of things I wish they'd kept from Fallout 4. Like, one of the things I liked. It is, but there are a couple of things that feel a little bit like they've gone backwards. So one of the examples of that is the camera being first person while you're talking to NPCs. It feels weird, because, I mean, yeah, that's like what it used to be like. But Fallout 4 changed that, and I liked that change, although I probably didn't really realize at the time how much it was better. Now going backwards, it's more obvious now that like actually it was better before with Fallout 4. Yeah, that's it. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I'd be all for that. Yeah, I'm all for options. I mean, that's one of my complaints with a lot of things, particularly talking about apps and things like that on Android or whatever. Is don't remove a feature. Give us the option to toggle it on or off, or make the default that it's gone and have it so that you can toggle it on if you want. Like, that sort of stuff annoys me. I mean, in this case, it's a little bit different because it's a game, but yeah, that's something I'm always pretty critical of. Is like, don't remove features or change things without giving the option to change them back. So yeah, I'd definitely be all for an option. And surely enough, someone will mod it. The other thing that would have been nice, I can totally see why they didn't do it. It would have been nice to have had a voiced player character. But I can also, I also understand why they didn't do that but it's a lot of work, and it also would add extra cost to development. Yeah, extra cost, extra work, extra time. I can understand why they didn't do it. Oh, they absolutely could have. But I mean, how many more years does this game, go on and on? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I've not even I've not even turned the PlayStation on in so long. I have no reason to at all. Yeah, it's a shame. Because it's not worth it. I mean, if they offered us something, like how Game Pass is, makes it worth it. I mean, I don't think there's anything worth it on PlayStation. Yeah, and they're all going to be single player anyway, so you don't need PS Plus. They're sort of, I mean, I don't know the sort of the economy of it, whatever you want to call it, but I feel like they're shooting themselves in the foot a little bit. Maybe they aren't. Maybe they have a plan. Maybe they know what they're doing. I don't know, but it feels to me like they're not quite doing the right thing. Oh, right. No, I've not seen that. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely think it's overpriced for what they're offering. Well, I mean, that's the thing. I was no, I mean, I saw it at when they first announced it. Yeah, Gamescom, that's what it was. Yeah, I saw it there, but I didn't. I mean, I've not seen anything else since. I honestly, to be honest with you, I'm actually a little disappointed because I feel like why are we getting a new flight sim when Flight Sim 2020 is there's nothing wrong with it, and all of the new mission type things they're adding, like search rescue missions and whatever else they're doing, Yeah, why can't you just add that to Flight Sim 2020? Why must we buy a new game? It seems a bit weird to me. Well, the other thing too is, yeah, like you mentioned our purchaser. I mean, are we going to be keeping the things we've bought? Like I've got purchased planes and locations at airports. And yeah, well, I mean, I don't know about paying move, but like, are we even going to be able to use them at all, or are they going to be, obsolete? Because I've spent a fair bit of money on that, and I know a few people who have. So yeah, I don't know. It's a little concerning. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, because that's what I mean. I know Bile spent a fair bit on locations, airports. So yeah. Well, and that's the thing too. I mean, yeah. Well, what's wrong with the current flight sim? I mean, I can't see anything wrong with it. It's got everything you want. You just add. Yeah, yeah, exactly. 3 years old. Yeah. Yeah, I assumed that Flight Sim 2020 was like a new platform for Flight Sim, where they were just going to keep upgrading it. But I guess I was wrong. In the same way that's what I was hoping that Modern Warfare 2019 was going to be, and I was wrong about that too. So, but I guess at the end of the day, I guess at the end of the day, it comes to the same reason why that's not what Modern Warfare 2019 was. It's all about the money, isn't it? It's all about extracting more money out of people to buy the next game. Oh, why do that when you can charge people full game? Yeah, and now we're getting, Modern Warfare 3 and the same thing all over again. It's like, why is that not just the same thing, or added that content? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's the one positive thing I can say in some way. Like, I'm both positive and negative about it, but I guess maybe I'm not the intended audience for this. But on one hand, I think it's good that our purchases finally go over. That's something that I think they should have done a long time ago. But on the downside, a lot of the skins and things that I really hate, all of the stupid stuff that you can buy, will also be carrying over. So one of the things that's nice about Call of Duty is that when a new Call of Duty comes out, you get to play the game clean for a little bit, where there are none of these stupid skins and whatever else, stupid characters, and those things don't come out for a little bit. But when the next Call of Duty comes out, straight away from day one, we're gonna have people running around as rats and fucking rabbits and with fancy skin and guns that talk and just, oh man, all this stuff that I just really dislike. That's all going to be in the game from day one. Oh man, he certainly has. I noticed that every time there's a new skin in the store, he straight up has it. And I mean, if you can afford to do so, why not? But man, like how many times over could you buy the game with the cost? That's like I remember hearing a while back about the amount of money that people spend on FIFA and stuff like that. Like, it's insane. Some people are spending thousands of dollars. It's nuts. In what way? Oh, good. I mean, I'm all for that, to be honest with you. I'm all for blocking gambling from games. Yeah, I know the one you mean. Yeah. The ratings board or whatever it is. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. Well, I mean, on the plus side of GTA, so the one that gets me confused is like FIFA, because there's a new FIFA every year and it's always the same game and people still spend stupid amounts of money on it. But the one I can kind of understand is spending money on GTA, because GTA, its lifespan is significant. GTA 5 has been out for, since like 2013. So, 10 years now we've had GTA and GTA 5. And, so at least those purchases that people made have paid off. So I can understand that. But in terms of when you say people asking for GTA 6, yeah, I mean, that's why would they do that? They're making plenty of money on GTA 5. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's no reason to bring out GTA 6 at this point. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed GTA, but I don't know. It's I've sort of lost my interest in GTA over the years. No, I'm not particularly. It's just full of trolls, I mean, mostly. I like the concept. The idea of it is cool, but of course, people suck. So people online suck, so it just makes the game not as fun. Which I think is the case with so many things. I mean, it's the same thing as like Call of Duty. I do enjoy the game mechanics of Call of Duty, and most of the maps are actually good maps. What I don't like is the way people play them. So like that's like the map Tarak from Modern Warfare 2. Like the 2022 one, that map is actually good. If you've ever played that map with people who are playing the game properly and don't camp, it's actually fun. What makes that map bad is when everybody on both teams are all camping with snipers and no one plays the objective. That's when it gets boring. And yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't mind there being something. I don't know what they would do, but it would be nice if there was something that could be done to, maybe not, I mean, not necessarily, yeah. Well, I don't necessarily think campers should be punished, because it's not like it's not a valid play style, because it is. And, people should be allowed to camp if they want to. I think the problem is that it's something that is not just an option, but it's encouraged. Camping is encouraged in Call of Duty, and part of it is to do with the challenges. So a lot of the challenges are things like, getting kills while prone, getting kills while mounted, getting kills, long shot. Oh my god, long shots is the amount of times that you're playing and someone is camping, and you give them a bit of banter about camping, and they're like, "Oh, I'm trying to do my long shots," and it's like, "Yeah, of course you are." And it's things like that. It's like, why give us challenges that promote camping? Why not give us challenges that promote objective play? No, it should be objective play, if anything, because then if people want to do their challenges, they have to play exactly. They have to capture the objective to do it. Which again, or maybe restrict it so that, like, if you want to do certain challenges, you can only do those challenges in non-objective mode. So as an example, have it so that the long shots can only be done, or kills that require camping can only be done in TDM, so that if you're playing an objective, it doesn't ruin it for everyone else. Ground war or invasion, those kinds of things. Anything but those people that are in. Anything but the people who are in like domination or headquarters or something, and it's just like. Yeah, and they're just ruining it for those who actually want to play objective. Especially when the way the skill-based matchmaking works is it's going to put, me as an objective player, I'm going to be paired with players who don't play objective to try to balance the teams out. But of course, those players who don't play objective are the ones who, it's not that they're bad at the game, they just simply have no intention of playing objective because they're getting long shots or whatever it is they're getting. And so it makes it not fun for me as an objective player. And like, it's not like they're not having fun because they're doing what they want, but it's ruining it for those who don't want to do that. So I think they need to separate the player base in that way. And I don't mean like separate the player base completely, but just make it so that, like, if you want to do challenges, you can't do those challenges in objective modes unless they're objective challenges, and that sort of thing. That I think would help a lot. And to me, that seems simple enough. It's not like that's some game-changing thing. I mean, but I don't, or like have certain game modes that are meant for challenges. I just anything but what they're doing now, because I feel like at the moment they're just encouraging camping behavior, which, like I said, it's not like that's not a valid thing. It's sure, if people want to camp, they can camp, but the problem becomes when half the team or the whole team is camping because they're trying to all do challenges. And it's even boring if it's not your team. I mean, let's say you're on a team that is playing the objective, but the enemy team isn't. That's just as boring, because then, you capture the objectives and then you're left just waiting for the enemy team to do something, but they're just too busy sitting in their spawn, and that's boring too. So it's not even just when it's your own team doing it, it's when it's the enemy team as well. And that's, like I said, one of the issues with the Tarak map is that it's the kind of map that is good for long shots, and because of that, so often people aren't playing the objective. Yeah, it's frustrating. But anyway, that's my gripe with Call of Duty. I have a real issue with the whole promoting camping thing. It frustrates me greatly. Yeah, and exactly, because it's definitely something that's been getting worse too. Because I mean, it was already a problem even in Modern Warfare 2019 as well, but it wasn't as bad as it is now. It wasn't this bad. It actually is, yeah. Well, I just found a weird location. I'm not sure what you mean. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's what I've been doing at the moment. I've just been looking around for random shit, yeah. Well, no, this one wasn't marked. That's the thing. This particular place I'm at now, this wasn't marked. This is just a random unmarked location. Hell weird. I just happened across it by accident. I only noticed it because I saw all the pink everywhere and was like, what the hell is this? Yeah, weird. Almost reminds me, if it was green instead of pink, it reminds me of Tiberium from like Command & Conquer. Like a Tiberium field. Oh yeah, I'll have a look at that a bit later. Yeah, man, it moves pretty quick. Sometimes it's a little bit hard to control even because of just how quick you move. Yeah, well, I just thought I may as well leave the stream up just for if I come across anything interesting while I'm doing this, because I'm just fucking around while talking. I'm not really... What? Where? I don't know how far back we're talking, but I'll have a look back here. Oh. Didn't see anything. Maybe. I know there's a dung pile that I can loot from. I haven't looted that. I might do that. Yeah. Oh, you think it's? You know what? I can tell you one thing. I was showing Kat the game, like on her Xbox, because you know it's on Game Pass and she's got Game Pass. So I downloaded it on her Xbox and I was showing her, hoping that she'd get into it. And man, I can tell you, it is so much easier with a controller than it is with on PC to do that. On PC, you've got to hold down the Alt key and press the A and D keys to move left and right, and the W key to increase and the S key to decrease. It's so fucked. I don't know why. I don't know who decided that that was a good idea. Yeah, that sucks. Whereas on controller, you know, it's just the D-pad. It's not as bad. Yeah, it's so much easier. And I was surprised. I was thinking, oh man, this is gonna be hard, but that's easy. Yeah. So yeah, it's silly on PC. The only issue I have with the star map is that it defaults zoomed in a little bit, whereas you know, it's such a big thing. It needs to be zoomed out. At least in my opinion, it needs to just be zoomed out all the time because it's huge. Yeah, I'm not using the Mantis backpack actually. I've got a better one at the moment that I'm using. It hasn't got the same perks. Well, the perks aren't as good, but it's got a lot more damage resistance. I'm using, I can't remember what it is, but actually I can't look. I have looked at that, but I've not got my skills up for that yet. Yeah, but I'm using a Mark 1 pack. It's got 66 physical resistance. This thing is sick. From the Lodge. Yeah, yep, that's the one. Yeah. Yep. Because I've got the suit as well. Because the suit's actually better. I mean, look at the stats on the suit. 120 physical resistance, 136 energy, and 128 electromagnetic. This suit is better than the Mantis suit. The only benefit of the Mantis suit is that you get the extra perks. So for me, I've got the Chameleon, Liquid Cooled, and Incendiary. But yeah, I mean, actually, the Mark 1 suit's better if only it had the perks. Yeah, I'll probably do that eventually. I think it's one of those things where I'll get to... Oh, there's a ship here. That's not mine. I might... I wonder if I can take that. I think I can take that. Yeah. I can take this ship, I think. Oh, well, I think I found myself a new ship to modify. Although I got no money. That's something I really need to do. I need to find more credits. I made a shit ton of credits. It looks like the Mantis. I don't think it is, though. It looks similar, though. But no, it's not the Mantis. It's a similar design, though. Very similar. Yeah, I need more credits. So I made most of my credits that I had back then when I had like 300,000 credits, and I eventually had like 500,000. That was all from one sort of quest arc. And then since then, I've made fuck all credits, so I need to find a way to make a bunch of credits. I'm not really sure exactly what to do that. Yeah, I guess that's probably what I have to go back to. Well, yeah, and that's how I got most of them. I just wish there was a way I could, not farm it as such, but it'd be nice if I could sell resources, like how I'm making a shit ton of resources at the outpost. What I'd like to see is a way to automatically deliver, you know, like have a ship, yeah, have them sell, yeah. So when I've got an excess of, say, iron, if I could sell that iron using the spaceport, that would be wicked. Because then you could have this constant influx of money over time. That would be nice. I might take this ship. Actually, before I do... actually, no. I don't think I will take the ship, actually, because I just don't have any money to modify it. Actually, I'll check how much I've got. But yeah, and I think I'm just so out of money, I really can't afford... Yeah, I've got 6,800 credits. I've literally drained all my credits in this. Yeah, so I need to make more. Yeah. Yeah, I'd actually kind of have never, until just before when you mentioned to me about buying ammo, I actually never have. So I bought some of the ammo for that gun, but no, you find so much ammo. It was just this one gun that I was missing ammo for. Actually, hang on, I bought ammo and now I don't have ammo for this gun still. What? Did I buy the wrong ammo? So this is 50 MI. 50 MI array. Oh, maybe the array is different. No, but it's 42. Wait, no, that's the thing. I bought that and I still have only 42. I had more than that. Oh, well, it looks like maybe I accidentally loaded an old save. No, I didn't though. Oh, fuck knows. I did something anyway. Oh, unless it's in my ship storage. Because I bought it while I was in the ship. I bet it went to my cargo. Yeah, I think that, yeah, I reckon that's what happened. Death Stranding to the iPhone. Yeah, yeah, I don't know about that. Sounds like a marketing stunt to me, which, being Apple, doesn't surprise me. Oh, look, I'm sure it can run a version of it on the iPhone. I mean, you could say the same thing about any high-end phone. You know, that you'd be able to run, you take the latest Samsung or the latest Pixel, and you probably can run things like that, but not the same way that you would on a console or a PC. I mean, it's not going to run at the same fidelity, obviously. It's like nobody has any. Nobody believes that like Call of Duty Mobile is the same as Call of Duty on console and PC. I mean, I hope no one believes that. Yeah, I mean it's similar, but it's a massively downscaled version because it's the only way it'll run. Ah, why would you? Yeah, why would you play it on phone? You just play it on literally anything else.
Any news from the rest of the settled systems? Actually, never mind. It's nicer not to know.
There's so many random things to find on these planets.
Fertilizer deployment protocol activated. Please vacate the area.
Keeping all this equipment running is tiring work. Our tech isn't exactly top of the line. Get lost on your way to Jemison. Okay, thanks.
Oh wow, I can just take that cred stick and it's not counted as stealing? Done, I'm taking it. And yet, a milk carton is stealing. Okay. Ah, yeah. Sometimes it's weird. Sometimes it doesn't make sense. Like sometimes, yeah, sometimes it is stealing, and then other times it's not. And there could be an item right next to it. Or if you take, like just then, if I took that milk carton, I would have been stealing. But the cred stick next to it isn't stealing, which is like, okay, I'll take your money, but not your milk. All right. Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, well, the guy was looking at me. I mean, it was right in front of, literally in front of his face. I don't think it's even maxed out either. I've just put it up a fair bit. Because I don't want to put it up anymore because the game gets so laggy while I'm streaming at the moment. Yeah, I'm a little concerned it is going to crash at some point. Although, I mean, I have not had it crash once. Since I fixed the issue, it hasn't even crashed once on me, so I think I'm all good. And, like, I'm still technically overclocked, you know. So, yeah. So it's doing pretty well, actually. Yeah, I'm starting to feel like finally I'm at the point where... I mean, I have no intention of buying a new GPU, but I feel like I'm at the point where I'm now going to have to start, you know, in the next generation or two, start thinking about it because, I mean, this 2080 still does everything, but it's starting to feel a little bit like soon it's going to have problems. I mean, because I'm running this at full, you know, all the graphics are maxed out on this, and this is at 1440p. Now, like I said, normally I'm getting a higher frame rate than this, but I'm finding while I'm streaming and running, you know, OBS and all that, it's not doing too well. But normally, you know, my frame rate's usually above 60, so that's at least good. But yeah, I feel like much more than this, and I think I'm going to reach that point where I'm going to start getting the itch to buy something new. Yeah, oh well, I mean, Modern Warfare's usually pretty well optimized. I mean, that's why I can still run even, you know, Modern Warfare 2 at least close to 144 hertz all the time. Sometimes it dips a little bit, but for the most part, it's, you know, it's at the very least above 120 all the time. You know, which is nice because it's, you know, just a really optimized game. So I would sort of expect the same thing from Modern Warfare 3 for it to be well optimized. I can't imagine graphically it's going to be that much better. So, you know, or that much more intensive. So, yeah. Yeah, I'd forgotten about that. Yeah, that I did show you that, didn't I? Yeah, that was funny because I noticed it straight away. It's funny. I haven't seen anyone else point that out. Like even I mean, maybe he deliberately didn't point it out. I noticed it, but during Jack Fragg's video is where I saw it. I was watching his video on it, and I just noticed it. It was, to me, it was so obvious. It was so obvious. I just saw it and I was like, oh my god, that is some major clipping. I wonder if anyone else noticed that. And I've since not seen anyone mention it. Yeah, and I think maybe I just notice these kinds of things anyway. Like I generally do. Not that I'm particularly looking out for it, but clipping is something that to me stands out a lot. But I don't know if that's because I've done a fair bit of like, you know, making levels and things for games. You know, when I've been using, you know, back in the Crisis days, like using CryEngine and stuff like that. I don't know if maybe that's why, because I'm used to, I know what clipping looks like, and I'm fairly used to dealing with it. Because whenever I've made maps or various things for games, I try my hardest to remove all clipping and avoid it. Like even when I'm making, even just simple things like non-modding, like when I've been making outposts in this game, if sometimes things will be slightly clipping, and that annoys me, and I'll move the thing just to make sure it's not clipping, even just in the slightest. I don't know why I'm so obsessed with clipping, but I just hate seeing it. I think I'm running out of things to see on this planet. I've seen pretty much everything there is. Oh, except that. Is that? Oh, it's a natural structure. I know what that is. Same as that. Yeah, there's hot springs. It doesn't look like there's anything else. They're just natural resources, yeah. Yeah, you just have to find them like what I'm doing now. You just randomly look at things and you'll find them. What is that? This weird explosion that keeps going off. I don't know what it is. What the hell is that? Is there a mine underneath me that's exploding? There's a mod that will do that. But yeah, no, it should be built into the game, for sure. Yeah, I know I've seen a mod, I haven't downloaded or anything, but I've seen a mod that changes the HUD in the spaceships to all like a light blue color, and it does look good. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Just, yeah. Oh, jeez. No. I think I'm going to be busy with Starfield for a long time, though. Yeah. But I think I'm going to be busy with Starfield because, like, especially once the modding tools come out, I think this game's going to take all my time. Yeah, and there's a few reasons. Yeah, one, like I said, it's going to take up a lot of time because there's so much to do. But also for me as well, there's so many mods that can be done, and so many things I've got planned. But some of it I'm doing now, but other things are going to require proper modding tools to do. Yeah, and so so like I think I'm going to spend a lot of time doing that stuff once the modding tools are available. Oh yeah. I would like to be able to... Okay, so there's a little problem. Are you still watching the stream again? Okay, so something that I would really love is, so here, if I press the shortcut key to go to like your, that shortcut menu where you can favorite things. So if I have a spacesuit in the shortcuts menu, and if I click on it, it puts on that spacesuit. Okay, so now I've got the spacesuit on, that's all well and good. But then if I go back into that favorites menu and I click on the spacesuit again, it doesn't remove it. So it should be a toggle. It should be like, well, no, it's not unfavoriting. I mean, yeah, that's another issue, sure. But my issue with this is more like I want to be able to toggle it on and off. I want to be able to toggle my spacesuit on and off using the favorites menu. Instead, if I want to remove my spacesuit, I have to go into my inventory, wait for it to freeze while it saves my game, auto saves, and then go in and disable it that way. It's the only way to do it, and it's sort of, I'm not a fan of that. Yeah, it's weird. I saw a thing that said the game was going to support that instead of it being a mod, that they were going to officially support that. But then it didn't happen, so I don't know if maybe what I saw wasn't official or something. Maybe, yeah. I should probably heal my character. I'm starting to get damage from having broken limbs and stuff, because I've been moving so quickly that my limbs are like getting broken as I land. Yeah, that's what I need to put on. I just haven't been bothered doing it because I don't want to just break my limbs immediately after and waste the thing. But I think it's starting to reduce my health. Yeah, the Mark 1's what I'm using. Yeah. It does. I actually don't like that. Yeah, I wish that was an optional thing that you could either choose to do or not do, because sometimes I'll have my like really big ship, and then I want to move to a little ship, but it has less storage, and so I end up with a ship that I can't put anything in the storage. So yeah, that annoys me a little bit. Yeah, there are still plenty of things that could be changed. For the most part, I mean, the game's pretty good, but yeah, there are still a few things, just quality of life things could change. Yeah. Yeah, or an ability to, I mean, I know this is, look, there's probably a thing that does this already that I'm just not seeing, but an option to be able to store cargo from your ship at one of your landing like, you know, you have the landing pads that can do the ship modifications and stuff as well. Would be cool if that had storage so that you could just store your stuff. Now it probably does. I probably just haven't seen it. Maybe the transfer thing or storage crates. So there probably is a way to do it. But either way, if there is a way to do it, it's probably not as easy to do as I would like it to be, because what I would like is to just be able to land and say transfer all cargo to, or, you know, or just transfer resource cargo or something, you know, like transfer cargo to landing bay or something. What, my game or your game? Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah. Yeah, I've taken a few cool ones. Sure. I was very skeptical in terms of stability. Like, I was thinking, okay, this game might be, you know, like Fallout is fun and good and all, but it's like buggy as hell on launch, and it's one of those games where, like, you know, you may as well buy it like, you know, a year later or something like that. I didn't think the game was going to be so stable so early on. I just realized this game was going to be this good, and it is genuinely fun. The story is, at least so far, you know, I mean, obviously don't want to give any spoilers as I'm streaming, but so far it's like, it's good, but there are some things that I feel are, I don't know, maybe I just, because I haven't seen the whole story yet, maybe there are things I'm missing still, but I'm not a huge fan of the story, the main story, but some of the side missions are awesome. Like the Crimson Fleet one was fantastic. Yeah, the one with the UC Def and Crimson Fleet, yeah, highly recommend anyone do that mission. That was good fun. Yeah. Yeah, there's quite a few options, and you do things how you want to do them. And I love how you can turn turrets against NPCs. Oh man, yeah, that's good fun. I was just thinking that that's something I'd really like to see is farms. I want to grow potatoes. I want just a massive potato farm, and then I can just sell potatoes. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I want to grow those potatoes. Yeah, but that was a great video. So that's good fun. That's the sort of stuff where, like, I kind of want to do stuff like that, but I don't want to mess around too much with my current save. So, oh, I don't care about crashing the game, but I just don't want to mess around with my save file. So it's something that I'll, once I've completed the game and I feel like I've, you know, done a fair bit with this character, I'll probably start a new save and just have a save where I just mess around and do stupid things. That'll be good fun. Well, I mean, that's the thing. I might end up buying this for Steam as well at some point. Especially because I'll be doing modding. It might, well, it will be useful for me to have the game on both through Game Pass and Steam, because there are some differences with modding, and certain types of mods are incompatible for different versions. Like at the moment, there's like a achievements enabler mod for the Steam version that doesn't work for the Xbox version, as an example, to stop you from, you know, because if you use certain console commands and things like that, or certain mods, it disables achievements on your save, and there's no way to undo that once it's done. So I'd like to, yeah, get both. I forgot what the point of that was, but yeah, for some reason, yeah, to do that thing. But I forgot, how did we get onto that, getting two different versions? Oh yeah, I have a different version with a different save entirely. Yeah, so I'll have the Steam version that I'll probably just mess around with, so that it's not even connected to my Game Pass version at all. Like, so, yeah, exactly. I'll have my, like, Game Pass game will be this one. I'll keep this one as is, and then I can, you know, I can also load this exact save up on Xbox as well, if I particularly feel the need to. But yeah, and then I can have a you know, a Steam save that's you know, significantly more modded, mostly for testing and messing around with, and yeah, exactly, mostly for testing mods and for messing around with and things like that. Who, Vladimir? No, he doesn't. No, there is a guy. There was one I came across that sounded like it. Who was that? There was someone, and the accent was so bad, but it sounded a bit sort of Slavic of some sort. I can't remember who it was though. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, like the cartoon villain kind of. Yeah. She sounds like it, but I don't know. I mean, again, she has that sort of, Eastern European accent, but I don't think she's supposed to be Russian as such. Because I don't think there really are sort of country factions or whatever, if that makes sense. They're just sort of, yeah, because, yeah, but I think it's just the sound of like where she's from. I don't know if you know her background, I won't spoil it, but yeah, she's got a particular background. I think that's where the accent comes from. For me, it depends who it is. Really, that's the one I don't like. I find him annoying. I like companions that don't talk, which is why I like that that one that you were just talking about, the one that's kind of emo-ish. She's great because she barely talks. It's wonderful. And Barrett's pretty good because he says funny things. The only thing that does annoy me with the NPCs talking is every time you take off or land in a ship, they've got to say some funny thing, and that annoys me. The first couple of times it's like, oh yeah, haha, yeah, I didn't scratch the paint, great. But now it's getting annoying where it's like every time I dock, oh, you didn't scratch the paint. It's like, yeah, I've heard that 100 times now. Like, you can stop saying it, dude. So that's another thing that I'll mod if someone else doesn't mod it. There probably is a mod for that already. But that's something I'll definitely be doing is probably just straight up deleting the voice lines, or making them empty voice lines, so they just don't talk as much. Oh, I did find a mod that I did download just because I was like, this is cool. Are you familiar with like the Wilhelm scream? Yeah, Wilhelm scream. Yeah. Yeah, there's a mod for that, and it puts that in the game, and it's rare, but like sometimes you'll kill an NPC, and they'll make the Wilhelm scream, and it's fucking great. Because it happens so rarely, but when it does happen, it's sort of, it's funny as, because you don't expect it just randomly happens. It's so good. It's one of my favourite mods I've seen so far, just because you sort of forget you've even got the mod until you hear it. Yeah, that was good fun. Sometimes, yeah, I've noticed sometimes when you complete a mission on a planet and the next objective is off planet, it will like put the marker just randomly on the planet, and it doesn't, where the marker should be on your ship, but it's not on your ship. The marker is just randomly on the planet. It's caught me out a couple of times where I've like run for this marker and realized I'm running into the middle of nowhere. Wow, I'm seriously losing health. I need to... Yeah, I'm actually bleeding at this point. Okay, I need to heal up. I'm in a bad shape. The what? What about it? You talking about the Obsidian game, the Outer Wilds? Oh, Outer Worlds? No, Outer Worlds. Sorry, yeah, Outer Worlds. Yeah. I honestly, I lost interest. It was good. I liked the humor of it. It was good in the beginning, and then I don't know. I just really lost interest very quickly because I just found that I was having a lighting issue. And keep in mind, this wasn't even on PC, so this wasn't a problem with my computer. I had this issue on Xbox, but I found there was this lighting issue that I was having where everything was dark all the time, and I don't understand why everything was so dark. Yeah, okay. See, I don't even use, it's funny, I have an HDR monitor, but I don't even use HDR. I think I'm scarred enough from Windows and Windows's issues with HDR in the past that I just don't even use it anymore. Yeah, fact, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, it really is, yeah. There are still some things I'd like to do to change this. So one of the things I'd like to do is, let me find an example. So where you get these icons, so with the treatment icons that show you what the thing treats, I'd like those icons next to the icon that tells you what it is. So like all of the health related items all have a little health symbol next to them. What I'd like next to that is what they actually do. A little symbol to tell you, this thing treats broken limbs, this thing treats burns, this thing is just for health or whatever. That would be great because I'm always going through trying to find the thing that fixes the thing I'm looking for, and it takes up a fair bit of time. It's a small thing. It's not a huge issue, but yeah. Yeah, it does, but you have to select, but you have to go to the thing first. I wish it was on the actual main list so that I could just go straight to that thing. Just like on the list, like in the list, rather than having to highlight the thing to see what it does. I'd rather those icons be in the list itself, and that way. That's another thing. Yeah, I find the status screen kind of pointless. It doesn't really provide much help, unless I'm missing something. It just doesn't. Yeah, well, yeah, that's it. Yeah. Yeah, but when it comes to like the negative status effects, it doesn't really help me all that much. I feel like maybe that's something that, I don't know if maybe they didn't finish it, or I don't know, maybe it is as intended. I'm not sure, but it just doesn't seem all that useful to me. And I've still got radiation poisoning. I don't know why. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna have to do.
I have something for you. Liftoff initiated, Captain. Time to venture into that beautiful sky. Orbital pattern locked. Easy.
No, I still haven't got around to it yet. No, I've not seen. I'm hoping maybe I'll just wait until all of season. Wait, you said season 2 was already finished, didn't you? Maybe, or is it not? Okay, cool. So yeah, I'll probably have a look at it now that it's finished, and I'll just binge it. Yeah. Well, Baal's very familiar with the books, I'm pretty sure. I think he has the books in his bookshelf. Mm. Yeah, it's certainly big budget, that's for sure. No, it wouldn't surprise me if they don't. Yeah. All right, mate. All right, well, I might stop the stream there.